What is up, my individuals? DRE DREXLER here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's video. Today I will be discussing my 5 biggest flaws. Now, Blumaan was the originator of this idea, and I really enjoyed his video. I thought it was great. I loved how transparent he was. He did tag me in the video, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the same by tagging Alex Costa, Brett Maverick, Carlos Roberto, Jordan O'Brien, and David from How to Beast. Now, we all have flaws, and we all love to hide them. As a men's lifestyle influencer, I give tips on how to live a high quality life. I give tips on how to achieve greater success and how to be all you can be. And of course, how to be more confident. But just because I teach these things doesn't mean that that I have it just all figured out. The reason why I teach a lot of these things is because I'm first trying to teach myself. And every new thing that I learn, I go ahead and I tell it to you guys right after. And at the end of the day, no matter what a person is portraying on the internet and through social media, no matter what they post, no matter how great their life looks, you really have no idea what is going on behind the scenes. Your favorite actors, influencers, authors, whatever, they're all just as messed up as the next man, all trying to figure out this thing called life. And I would go ahead and say that I'm one of the top knuckleheads upon that list. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump into my list of flaws. This is gonna be fun. Now, of course, these aren't all my flaws. I've definitely got a lot more. However, we're just going with 5 today, thank God. Just to be totally transparent with you guys, this list of flaws are definitely some that have been very hard to overcome, stuff that I've grown up on, and things that I'm still trying to fix to this day. So welcome to my sweet little life of dysfunction. Let's go ahead and let's jump right into this. Now, right off the bat, I was gonna say that one of the biggest flaws that I deal with is fear. However, I feel like fear is such a broad category. There's different types of fears. Fear comes in all different shapes and sizes, and I feel that we all deal with different kinds of fear. And so I would like to be a little bit more specific as to what mine are. So number one of the biggest fears I deal with is the fear of what people think of me. Now, the reason why this fear is a flaw is because, I let it control my actions. Now, I know you'll hear a lot of people, a lot of influencers, celebrities, musicians especially, they always say, I don't care what people think about me, And I'm not one of those guys. I'm definitely not one of those guys. I want people to like me. I want people to like my work. I want people to understand me. I don't want people to get me twisted. I want them to understand my motives. And as an influencer, I feel like you get judged a lot, of course. And I knew that coming into this thing. But, also there's so many people that think that they already have you all figured out. And that's where it gets a little rough sometimes. And so this is something that I've definitely had to work on these last few years, and I'm definitely getting better at it, and God is still working in me. And I've learned at the end of the day, you guys, you will never be able to fully satisfy the haters and win them over. And even if you did, you're gonna gain some new haters elsewhere. And I've said this before, even if you saved the lives of every kid on a burning school bus, you're still gonna have haters telling you that you should have saved the school bus as well. Another fear of mine is the fear of letting people down. Now, as an influencer, yeah, you get a lot of haters, but you also get a lot of people that love you as well. And it's a huge blessing, it's a huge gift. And with that said, when you have people that love you, this is how I feel. I feel like, I don't want to let them down. One of my biggest fears is letting you guys down, and especially letting the people in my life down as well. But what happens is if you let fear like this control your actions, you're gonna freeze up. Your decision making won't be very good. You're gonna overthink things, and you're not gonna be authentic to who you are. And I have to tell myself every single day, instead of worrying about letting people down, be motivated to lift people up. Instead of always focusing on, what if I mess up? I'm gonna let this person down. Instead of thinking that, think in your head, I'm gonna succeed, and it's gonna cheer this person up. All in all, when it comes to fear, I just encourage you guys, and I encourage myself most of all, to just be authentic to yourself and focus on doing your best. Being the best you that you can be. As long as you did your best, that's what it means to succeed. Even if you lose, I mean, if you know in your head you gave it your all and you gave it 110%, that's the definition of a champion. Now, another flaw that I deal with is social anxiety. And sometimes, sometimes I do good, and then sometimes it hits me bad. Growing up, I was extremely shy. I got bullied a lot. I actually still get bullied to this day. I don't think nothing's changed as far as that goes. It's just transferred on over to the internet, but I can handle it a lot better, of course. But anyways, growing up, I hated attention. I hated people looking at me because, the second that attention was on me, I would get filled up with anxiety. So in my teenage years, I realized that I couldn't stay like this forever. I couldn't be this type of person for the rest of my life. And especially when I eventually have kids, I knew in my head that I couldn't be a father that's super filled with anxiety all the time. That's just that can't happen. So in my teenage years, I really decided to work on it and get into personal development. I did music with my brother, and we went out and we performed shows. And that would scare me, but I'd force myself to do it anyways and perform in front of thousands of people. I eventually started YouTube and speaking in front of a camera. I've gotten a little bit more comfortable with that. I forced myself to go out and date and talk to girls. And the reason why I did this is because the only way to get past something is to go through it. And if you never go through it, you'll never grow through it. But just to be totally honest with you guys, even though I put in all this work, still to this day, I still deal with it. Of course, it's not as bad as it used to be. I'm getting better, but I do have those occasions where I really deal with it. For instance, last week I was with a group of people, and for some reason, when we were all conversing with each other, I noticed that I wasn't really involved in the conversation that much because, the discussion that was going on, I didn't really have much knowledge on, and therefore I didn't have much to say. And for some reason, that was just filling me up with anxiety because now I was thinking that everybody was thinking that I was the shy guy. And, my mind was just really going out there, and it was really just stressing me out. So I got the heck out of there pretty quickly. So it wasn't my best moment, but at the end of the day, it's all a learning experience. These kind of situations, you gotta look back on them. You gotta reflect and think in your head, how could I do better next time? How can I adjust? And that's another thing that I've had to learn how to do is, if I say something stupid, if I say something that, that embarrasses myself, you gotta move on, You said it, there's nothing you can do about it, and the only way to move past it is to do just that. Just move on to the next, because there's absolutely nothing you can do about it, so why ponder on it? Another flaw that I deal with is getting in the zone. Now, I know that might sound kind of weird to you guys because I'm supposed to be the motivational guy. I'm supposed to be the morning routine guy who wakes up super pumped and motivated and ready to start his day. And I think that's where a lot of people tend to misjudge me. They think that those videos that I make, those lifestyle videos that I showcase of me, getting ready and doing these certain habits and rituals every morning, they think that that's me trying to show off and show how perfect I am as a man. And they think that this is me trying to tell everybody, be like me and then you will succeed. And that's definitely not the case in those videos. But honestly, the reason why I wake up, I like to exercise right away, I pray or meditate, eat healthy, eat a healthy meal, take my vitamins. The reason why I do all that is because I have a hard time getting into, my work mode. And I have to constantly do these things every day just to get myself fired up, to get myself pumped and get into that routine of success. Some days I just, I feel like I'm going through the motions. Some days I feel like I'm, not even doing any of that stuff, but because it's just a habit of mine now, I go through the motions and I do them anyways, even on the days where I don't even feel like it at all. And of course, I am human. There are days where I don't do any of that stuff. There's days where I do have lazy days, and it is what it is, and then I'll feel all guilty, and then I'll go ahead and make up for it the next day. And now the final flaw that I'm gonna discuss today is kind of going back to a fear of mine, and that is the fear of proclaiming my faith. Now, I feel like for the most part, people respect other people's beliefs, even if they don't believe the same way as they do. If you're a Buddhist, people are like, that's cool. If you're a Mormon, same thing, that's cool. If that's what you believe, that's what you believe. And if you believe in science and evolution, then hey, that's cool too. But for some reason, I feel like when it comes to believing in Jesus and proclaiming your faith in God, I feel like all of a sudden people, a lot of people, they snap, they attack you for it. And I've even found from my own personal experience, if I talk about Jesus, people will unfollow me. And therefore, over the years, I've definitely tried to lay off a bit, and not put it so much in people's faces. If you guys haven't noticed, I do give little hints here and there, and I talk about God, and I'll discuss it for just a brief second, and then I'll switch gears again really quickly and talk about something else, just so I don't offend anybody or turn anybody off. Because just to be honest with you guys, one of the last things I would want is for a supporter of mine to unfollow me just because, we have different beliefs. That honestly scares me, and it actually scares me right now making this video. Like, I'm actually a little scared to put this out there. I start to get thoughts in my head like, if they know that I believe in Jesus, then they won't support me anymore, and there goes my YouTube career. So with that said, again, just to be honest with you guys, yes, I have a fear of proclaiming my faith, but I've definitely made it a goal this last year to really discuss my faith a lot more and get into depth about what I'm about, what I believe in, because I feel like that's what I am called to do. I feel like that's my purpose, and if I don't live out my calling, if I don't live out my purpose, then honestly, I feel like I'm not staying true to my faith. And don't get me wrong, I'm not about taking religion and just throwing it and smothering it in people's faces. I personally believe that doesn't do anybody any good. In fact, I'm not even religious myself, you guys. My relationship with Jesus is just that. It's a relationship. And yeah, I'll tell people about it and what Jesus has done for me and how I live free under the grace of God. But at the same time, if you don't believe, then that's you. At the end of the day, everybody has their own beliefs. Everybody has the freedom to believe in what they want. And honestly, I'm cool with being friends with people that don't necessarily believe the same way I do. It's all good and it's all love. And I would hope that at the end of the day, if I had a message about Jesus that even for those of you who don't believe, that you could still get something from it. For instance, I heard a message the other day from a Buddhist, and though we don't believe the same, a lot of what he said helped me out. A lot of his message actually impacted my life and helped take my life to the next level. And so that would be my goal with my messages as well. Now that I've listed 5 flaws about myself, I want to go ahead and finish it off with one strength that I believe I have. Now, of course, there's just so many to choose from, so I can't really decide which one to go with. No, I'm just kidding. It's funny. Now, I didn't want to go ahead and just jump to conclusion and pick something that I believe was a strength about myself when it really honestly wasn't. So I went ahead and I asked my wife what was one thing that she thought was a strength of mine. And she said, well, the first thing she said was that I had really great sex skills, but obviously I can't really discuss that and go into detail about that. However, I asked her again, and she said that she believes that I'm very understanding. And after she said that, I thought about it, and I thought, I guess I could agree. I do try my best to be as understanding as possible, for people, and I try to put myself in that person's shoes. Now, I used to be awful at this, and I used to, really not be good at understanding people. But as I've gotten older, I really learned how to, understand people. I've made it a goal to really put myself in that person's shoes, understand them, because I believe that's what Jesus does for us. I believe that he's always constantly giving us grace and loving us regardless of what we do and all the, mess ups we do and all the failures that we face. He's just so gracious towards us, and I believe that we should do the same for other people. And besides that, me personally, I know what it's like to be misunderstood. I faced a lot of things in my life where people just judge me and misunderstand me. So, I want to give people that feeling of being understood, especially to my wife. So with that said, you guys, I just want to encourage all of you, before attacking somebody or before trying to get back at someone for hurting you, before writing a mean comment or texting somebody something hurtful or mean out of anger, really think about that person and their situation. Think about it from every side of the story as much as you can. Talk to them first, show them love first and foremost, because that may be something that they need at that moment. Because at the end of the day, it is, man. It's easy to love somebody that loves you. that's a piece of cake. That doesn't take any hard work. But what does take hard work and what takes the strength of God is to love somebody even if they hate you back. So I hope you guys dug today's video. I hope that you got a little something from it. If you did, and if you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to give it a nice big thumbs up, subscribe if you are new, and be sure to hit that notifications button to be informed when I drop some new content. And I'll see you guys soon. My name is DRE DREXLER. Mad love to you all. Shaka bra.